Once upon a time, there was an island full of life. Children laughing, fishermen sailing, and families praying in a small wooden church. This island was called Holland Island, located in the middle of Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, USA. It was named after Daniel Holland, an English settler who arrived there in the late 1600s. For more than 2 centuries, it stood strong home to over 350 residents, with schools, churches, and colorful wooden houses facing the calm blue waters. Life was peaceful until nature began to fight back. The soil of Holland Island was made of soft clay, and the ocean started to eat it away inch by inch. Storms grew stronger, waves hit harder, and the sea slowly began to swallow the land. People tried to save it. They built wooden walls, piled rocks, and prayed every night. But nothing could stop the rising water. By the early 1900s, houses began to crack and sink. Streets vanished under the waves, and families left their homes behind. In 1918, the last residents finally abandoned the island, leaving only silence behind. For decades, one last house kept standing. A lonely, broken wooden home surrounded by endless water, a haunting reminder of what once was. And in 2010, that final house collapsed into the sea, marking the end of Holland Island forever. What was once a home is now just water and memory. Proof that no matter how strong we build, nature always wins in the end. Water wave crying face, but even though Holland Island is gone, its story didn't disappear. Beneath the waves, the remains of old bricks, wooden beams, and church stones still lie quietly, whispering stories of the people who once called it home. Some sailors say, on calm nights, you can still hear the echo of the church bell ringing from under the sea, as if the island itself refuses to be forgotten. Scientists now use Holland Island as a warning, a real example of how climate change and rising sea levels can erase entire communities. What happened here isn't just history. The local church was one of the last standing buildings. The people prayed, asking God to save their island, but even faith could not fight the rising sea. By 1914, the church's foundation began to crumble, and within a few years, it fell into the waves. In 1918, the final residents packed their belongings and left Holland Island forever. Only the birds, the tides, and the silence remained. For many decades after that, one lonely house refused to fall. It stood proudly in the middle of the bay, half submerged, surrounded by nothing but water. It became a symbol of resistance, a reminder of human hope standing against nature's power. Photographers from all over the world came to capture it. People called it the last house on Holland Island. But even legends can't last forever. In 2010, after nearly 100 years of standing alone, the final house collapsed into the sea. The image of that moment, the wooden walls breaking apart and disappearing into the waves, became one of the most haunting symbols of climate change in American history. Today, Holland Island lies completely underwater. Only a few broken wooden posts and scattered bricks can be seen when the tide is low. But its legacy continues to echo in environmental studies and climate research around the world. Scientists often visit the site to study coastal erosion, sea level rise, and human displacement caused by environmental change. What happened here is not an isolated story. Similar islands in the Chesapeake Bay, like Sharp's Island, James Island, and Smith Island, are slowly eroding too. The ocean is rising, and the coastline is moving inward every year. Experts say the Chesapeake Bay has lost over 500 islands in the past few centuries. Many of them completely vanished underwater. The main reasons: rising sea levels, subsiding land, and human impact on natural ecosystems. The soft clay soil that formed these islands was never meant to last forever. As global temperatures rise, glaciers melt, and scientists from the University of Maryland arrived 2 days later. They brought drones, sensors, and scanners, but every reading came back blank. Compasses spun uncontrollably, drones lost signal midair, and camera footage turned to static whenever pointed toward the center of the vanished area. One geologist said quietly, "It's like the Earth doesn't exist here." News spread across the country. Reporters called it the vanishing woods of Maryland. Social media exploded with theories. Some said it was an underground sinkhole, Others believed it was a government experiment gone wrong. A few thought it was an alien event. But the oldest residents remembered the stories, the ones told by their grandparents, about the curse of Hollow Creek. An 89-year-old woman named Margaret Ellison was the last living descendant of the original settlers who built their homes near the forest in the 1700s. She told journalists, "My great-great-grandfather warned everyone. He said one day the forest would wake up and walk away. We thought it was a metaphor." Then she looked at the empty land through her wrinkled fingers and whispered, "Maybe it wasn't." That night, something even stranger occurred. Satellite images showed that the land where the forest used to be was glowing faintly. A circular light, pale blue, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. But when drones were sent again, the glow disappeared. Power outages struck 3 nearby towns. Radios filled with static. For hours, no one could call or text anyone inside a 10-mile radius. When morning came, the light was gone, but the ground had changed. The once smooth soil now had symbols carved across its surface, the same ancient markings that settlers had seen centuries ago on the trees. The symbols stretched for miles, spiraling outward from the center. They weren't carved by hand or machine. The grooves were deep, precise, and glowing faintly when touched by moonlight. Eleanor Briggs, the mail carrier who had first seen the forest disappear, moved away. Before leaving, she said one last thing to a local reporter. "The forest didn't vanish. It just went somewhere else for a while. And now it's back. But it's not the same." No one saw Eleanor again after that day. Her small blue house on the edge of Hollow Road stands empty, the porch covered in dry leaves, her old mail truck rusting beside the gate. People say if you drive by at midnight, you'll see a faint light flicker in her kitchen window, like a lantern swaying slowly from side to side. Others claim to hear the hum of her truck engine, even though the keys were never found. To this day, Hollow Creek Woods remains fenced off. Miles of barbed wire surrounding a land that refuses to die. The government says it's under investigation, but no official has been there in years. Locals whisper that those who entered never came back. The few who dared to sneak inside at night described the same thing: silence. Not peaceful silence, but the kind that feels alive, watching. The wind doesn't blow. The crickets don't sing. It's a silence that breathes. Maps no longer show Hollow Creek. If you search for it online, your GPS freezes, and your screen glitches. The road signs pointing toward it have all been removed. But still, truck drivers on Highway 41 swear that when the fog is thick, a dirt road appears for just a few seconds. A narrow, twisted path lit by flickering blue light.